that's what I would tell somebody, and I may be a little pushy. But if you see it, I think you'd believe it.
I would tell, if I were talking to a mom that was abortion-minded, I would tell her that I know she loves her baby, and I would say most women who actually have had abortions probably would definitely say, that they loved their baby and that it was a sad thing, and they felt that it was the only option. And so I would recognize to them that they do love their baby, and that they're not doing it because they want to. Nobody actually wants to have an abortion. It's just that they're stuck. They don't know what else to do, and so I would say that, and then I would just really encourage them to go to their local crisis or resource pregnancy center, because they are wonderful, and they're the great next step to do if you're not sure that you're making the right choice by having an abortion, and your options open up when you go to a pregnancy resource center, and they don't judge you, they welcome you with open arms, they are the light in your darkness, and they want to walk with you through your journey and your struggles, and they're not just in the business of saving babies. Like, they do genuinely want to love you too, and lift you up and give you dignity. And so I would say that, and then I would also say give God a chance to work in your situation. Just give him a chance, because he will save you from the pain and the regret, and he will have a plan, and you will discover it like within time, and with the help and the resources of the people around you, and you will get to make decisions that are good options. And also to any abortion-minded women who would just say that they just can't place their baby for adoption, I would say most women who have placed their babies for adoption have been in that spot and gotten over that hump, and that it is a real feeling to think, I can't do that, but many of us have, and to just know that there's a lot of us who have, and who are thankful, and who have made it through it.
Awesome. You guys are awesome people. What I want to do now is open it up to questions. If you have a question, I'll come bring the mic over to you. Does anybody have any questions for the girls?
Especially for those of you that had children at home when you made this decision. We have so many women come, and you talk to them about adoption. They say, well, if my children see this baby growing in my tummy, and then I have this baby, I could never do adoption. What would they say? What would I say to my children? What was that like for all of you that had children, and they see the baby growing in your tummy, and then baby doesn't go home?
For me personally, once I had my heart set on adoption, even though my son was only a year old, I talked to him every day about, he's still your brother, you still have the relationship, even at the time he didn't understand, and that, there are some people that can't have kids that would love to have children, and why not give them that gift? And over the years, they become very close. They know that they're brothers. They birthday parties sometimes, and it's enjoyable.
My kids were older, a teenager and 9, so I didn't tell them at first that I was pregnant. I waited until I had it all in my head when I was going to tell them and how it was going to go, and then they decided they were going to look in a bag that was sitting in there since January, and it was what to expect when expecting. And they were in my room, and I walk in, and they're like, "Why do you have this?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." This is next weekend, and I broke down into tears, and I told them what was going on, they said, okay, and they each had their own views, and I showed them. By then, I had the family picked out, and showed them who I was placing with, and that it was open and what that meant. My youngest had the hardest time post-placement when the baby was born, but they understood that if we brought this baby home, they were gonna do without a lot. They were gonna give up so much of what they were used to. My daughter couldn't competitively dance because then I was struggling as it was. But I always felt like, well, I already raised them. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna not bring this baby home, and what are my kids gonna say? And honestly, they love me more for putting everybody else, them and my son, in front of what I wanted. We have this bond, and they were there from day one.
Anybody else? Way in the back. I'll meet you halfway.
Hi there. So we have some mothers who will tell us, if I can't have my baby, nobody can. And we have a really hard time answering that question and working with that. So any advice from any of you would be welcomed.
Anybody? Come.
So this is something I learned about my adoption. I still had my baby. I still had my son. It became a we. And he had, two sets of parents. He had his birth family and he had his adopted family. And since we still contacted each other, had pictures, videos, I never lost him. He was still with me. I didn't have him on a daily basis, but now that he's 25, since he's been 18, he's in my life all the time. It was just a brief separation when, in the grand scheme of things, when you look down the life of this child, it's only a brief moment that you don't have him every day. But after, when you reunite, if that's a possibility that everybody wants, you have him for the rest of your life. And that's how I would answer that question.
It's hard to look at it that way, especially when you're going through it. It's hard to, but then at the end of it, it's like so different. Anybody else have a question? I love these locks.
One of the best pieces of research written on paper that I've seen about adoption comes out of the Caring Foundation with a summary report called Abortion: A Failure to Communicate. Some of you may be familiar with that. Paul Swope is the author. And they used right brain research with birth mothers and women who were considering abortion, considered themselves to be pro-choice, a label they put on themselves. But the findings from this research say that of the three options that women have, parenting directly, placing a child for adoption, or abortion, they see adoption as the worst of three evil choices they have to face. And it goes on to say, because the mindset is not only do you have to endure pregnancy and be a mother, but then you're a bad mother who gives your child away, right? That's the mindset that they identified. And I love the opportunity to be able to have you in front of us and to hear your stories, because with all of you, what I'm hearing is I got past that mindset, or maybe I never had that mindset, and I would love to know, how did you do that? Or why was that not your mindset? Because in thinking about presenting adoption, especially to abortion-minded clients, I think that's the biggest hurdle that we have. So how did you get there, or why was that not something you were thinking? Can you share that with us?
Do you guys want to share, or you want me to share?
So,
As I'm walking, let me just say this. Again, I think it goes back to positive surroundings that this birth mom needs to put herself in, because if she doesn't have anybody in her life, if she does end up hooking up with Pregnancy Resource Center or goes through with the adoption, I'll tell you, like I say, one negative thing will turn a person more in that direction. And so for me, I think it's surrounding yourself with positive influences, positive people. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I have one bit. I said this to somebody last night. In my situation, I felt like choosing to place my child for adoption was a huge confidence booster because I felt good about what I did, where if I had an abortion, I would have felt bad about that. And that, to me, would have been a bad mother. I felt good because I gave my child a life that every child wants. And it also kind of gives you a kick in the rear to like, do more, be better, get your life together, become somebody. So then when you are, at that point of reuniting, he's proud of you.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah.
He's absolutely proud of me. And he's proud of my decision. He's thankful for the family that I chose for him. And that's something that I don't think that when a birth mom wants to say, I would be a bad mother, it's because she's worried about going through all of the pregnancy, the emotions. She has an abortion, nobody sees it, nobody knows, but she struggles by herself.
Yeah, Tanya, I couldn't agree with you more, and I commend you so much for having the ability to get there.
Yeah.
Would you say it was because of your background, because of teaching? Did someone influence you in that way?
I think yes. And coming from a rural community in North Dakota, I mean, it's not the Bible Belt, but it's pretty darn close. We went to church every week. In my school, we went to church every Wednesday. I had just a really strong, faithful upbringing. And the people around me were the same way. I mean, I don't even think there was an abortion clinic in North Dakota. Honest to God, I don't think there is one. There may be now, but I don't think that then there was. So it wasn't something anybody talked about. So I just knew right off the bat that this child was meant to be, and he's meant to be somebody, and he's meant to be somebody's, not just mine.
Thank you.
I would say that there is at least for me, there was a little bit of a hump to get over there with feeling like choosing adoption and placing your child was, it wasn't the mom that I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to parent. And my son was born with a cleft lip and palate, and so for me, that was a very defining moment where I knew I was not going to be able to parent, and God really helped me with that to accept that and to just surrender my parenting to Him. But as soon as I knew that the others in my life did not think that placing was a bad thing or being a bad mom, then I felt more secure in that and more support, and I felt good about it. And the Pregnancy Resource Center helps you to do that. The adoption agency helps you to do that. They're a big support in that too. And also being able to, I was with Bethany Christian Services, so I was able to really own every step of the way of my decision in adoption. I was able to go through all of the profiles, look at couples, make decisions of what I wanted it to be like in the hospital, what I wanted it to be like on placement day. It was very centered on my needs, and that helped being able to make all of these decisions. I was able to just throw my heart and my soul into my adoption plan for my birth son. And when you're doing that, there's no way, you don't feel bad about it when you can make decisions. So
From my experience, no matter what you do, you're always going to have somebody that judges you. Whether you place, have an abortion, parent, somebody's always going to judge you. So all you need to do is make the decision that is best for yourself.